We were talking about contrasting energies, you and I. You like living in the elevated movement of the world, so to say. Like that feels like your default setting, your default baseline. And for me, it's the opposite. Coming back to stillness and silence for me is my default. If I go too long in the world of matter, in the world of the human collective psyche, I get angry, I get frustrated, I get really emotional, I get really reactive because I think it's a way for me to try to disperse energy out of my system. Coming back to the simple essence, I think you and I, we were having a conversation before and we were talking about this concept, this idea of embodied resonance. And that lit me up in a way that I haven't felt in a very long time. Like, the spiritual journey seems like this whole complicated like maze of navigation, but in its essence, it's really simple. It's coming back to just our gnosis, our inner knowing that what we're seeking is always within us. It's always with us, no matter what situation we find ourselves in. It's always coming back to the knowing that what I'm seeking is right here. And for me, in my particular instance, what we were discussing was this idea of being in relationship romantically with women gave me the highest experience. Like without it, something is missing from my experience. There needs to be a contrasting balance to that. Because if I'm relying on someone else to give me this heightened experience of ecstasy, of bliss, of like an aliveness of life, now I'm always chasing the very thing, looking for it externally, but it's always changing. So having the contrasting viewpoint of like, what if simultaneously I'm also her peak experience, peak elevated experience? And now the pendulum that took me all out of balance now brings me right back to the center of my wholeness. So the embodied resonance is starting to integrate the fragmented parts of the psyche and bringing them back to wholeness. Whether it was a Christian belief or a Catholic belief that my sexuality is bad, whether it's some trauma experience, all these experiences are evidence for my ego to fragment themselves. So the counterbalance is coming back into the heart, which is just a simple resonance that feels like water pouring itself into water. It's effortless, it's easy, it's simple, it's not overly complicated. I'm not having to theorize myself to heal my trauma or to fix my belief systems. It's just coming into the space that is like, it's the space that we all know. As the guru says, it's the heart within me is the only thing that remains real within all of us. So coming back to that place is, I think it just simplifies things for us. I mean, I think the ultimate wellness is freedom from suffering, is a return to presence. Now, how do we get back to presence is, well, we're always in the present moment. It's just we're identified with an aspect of ourselves that isn't truly who we are. And I call that the ego. And the ego for me is it's mental patterns that we learn to identify with. So we're identified with something that's always changing. Thoughts, feelings, perceptions, our job, our family, the roles that we play in society. We're identified with that as the truth of who we are, fundamental truth. So the root of all suffering is just misidentifying who we think we are. It's getting swept away, so to say, in the thought streams, in the thought patterns, the habitual streams of thoughts that are always taking place. It's identifying with that. So return, like health and wellness to me is just coming back into balance. Now, obviously, it's a bigger conversation because we have so many things in society, technology, pollutants, all these things that are guiding us out of balance. But I think true health starts within ourselves, starts with regulating our nervous system, starting to develop a relationship with our breath, which now starts to give us space in our mind to start to access that core frequency of who we are. So, and it's a feeling sense. It's not an intellectual, theoretical thing. It's something we tangibly feel within ourselves. And as we start listening to our intuition, which is unique for everyone has their own unique intuition. I can't teach you what intuition is. You can only learn that for yourself, but you can feel the essence of where I'm speaking from within yourself. And that will start to guide you in a way that brings you back into the wholeness of mind, body, and energy, mind, body, spirit. It's holistic. That's why health can't be, in the West, we fragment health into little buckets. So I have back pain, right? And we associate back pain with something very physical. But to me, it could be a host of things that are the cause of the back pain. I wouldn't know until we start asking questions that really gets into why that's there to begin with. So the attributes of wellness is, first of all, it's selfless. Because if I'm focusing on myself, I'm in a contracted state, energetically speaking, mentally speaking, emotionally speaking. It's all about me. And the highest frequency is contribution. It's authenticity. It's contributing to the whole. So recognizing that I have patterns of trauma, patterns of fear, patterns of insecurity, all that's still here. And how can I use that? How can I see that and bring something to the world that is beyond me? Because I think all levels of contribution come from the mud. The lotus blossoms through the mud. So we have to understand, what is our mud? What is our like personal world that's mine, right? I got to protect my world. And health and wellness to me is a return. It's a return to balance. It's a return to relaxation, which actually amplifies energy. And now I can give from a state of overflow. So yeah, I mean, it can be an abstract topic, but to me, health is very personal. Like, we develop a relationship with our body, and our body is a beautiful expression of self-love, self-respect, first and foremost. And now, by self-love, that's contributing to the whole. That's being selfless. If I'm taking care of my health, that's going to impact the whole. So it's just a simple mindset shift and understanding that me taking care of my domain is actually a selfless act. And now perhaps I can reflect something to someone else that like gets them to turn on somewhere inside of themselves. Just be like, I got to go work out. I want to go eat healthier. I want aliveness too. Like, this is actually inspiring information that gets me to change a habit, an action, a thought pattern that gets me to do something different. I mean, the simple answer is move. We're so stagnant in today's society. Movement, dance, go work out, go lift, go hike a mountain, go do something, improv, right? Like, move your creative energy, move your creative spirit. Movement is the source of creation, right? Now, in the movement, I can still access my core foundational frequency, which is stillness. But it's not a stillness of our mind. It's not a stillness like I'm being still. No, the dancer in a flow state feels an expansion of stillness while simultaneously is moving in the experience. That's why I get so fascinated with just the idea of flow state, because I think that is the core, that's the state of being within all of us where we just come alive, where we start to access something within ourselves that feels true, it feels real, it feels reliable. It's like, oh, this is actually who I am. I've been pretending to be someone my entire life. This is me. It's like a kid. Kid's just playing, but a kid's just being themselves. So I would say vitality is inherent, and somewhere along the way, like metaphorically speaking, we cut off the fire hose. We start to contract the hose of our creative energy, our creative life force. And for me, the game is to start to incrementally open back up. And that's where a lot of different modalities, transformational experiences starts to open us up back to the mystery of life. And now our creative energy, it's its own intelligence. It will move us. It's like the music moves us. We just have to synchronize with the music, with the wave of the sound. So coming back into resonance, it's simpler. It's simple in the standpoint that we already innately know how to do it. It's difficult in the and all the conditioning and all the things that we pick up along the way in our minds. I think we get lost in the theory of trying to figure out life. Life is unfigureoutable. There's two states of being. There's a state of fear and there's a state of love. And then we overcomplicate everything along the way, which is beautiful too, because we like certain experiences. Certain people get turned on by intellectual stimulation. Other people, they want to move their body. And I think all of us, we want to know who we are in our essence, in the embodied frequency of love, which I feel like that universal love is accessible to all of us at all times, regardless of where we are, regardless of any circumstance. So I'll leave you with that.